quickly talk about Chelsea, because Ross Barkley, of course, was the main man against Southampton yesterday, and he got an assist and a goal as they beat Southampton by 3-0. And with England coming up, obviously people expect him to get picked for Gareth Southgate's team. So what a chance it would be, Conor, because it was only a few years ago people were talking about him being the next big thing when he was at Everton.
Yeah, I actually looked this morning. He's got 22 caps for England, which is quite low considering how long we've been speaking about Ross Barkley in the Premier League. Really, I think it's been ever since Rooney left Everton, they were looking for that next big talisman star. When Barkley emerged, the whole hype was around him, and then he missed a lot of game time last season, and it kind of died down a little bit, and we all forgot about him. So when he's re-emerged now under Sarri, he's looking like a completely new player, and it gives you a little bit of hope, really, for the likes of Loftus-Cheek at Chelsea as well, that he can develop into a future England star as well. He plays in the Europa Leagues, but he didn't play against Southampton at the weekend. But he can, if he's able to follow the same path as Barkley, then he can be just as impactful. And whether or not Barkley gets the game time for England, we'll have to wait and see on that front, because I'm not too sure how Southgate will use him. I'm not sure if he'll use him in the same way Sarri's using him.
Because the two games are competitive as well, so you can't just experiment, can
Right, yeah. So, and plus you've got other names in there that are looking to get their opportunities, like Sancho and Maddison and Mount as well, that have been called up for the first time. So it'd be interesting to see how Southgate does all that. But back to Barkley, really, and he's really proved himself now in this Chelsea squad that A, he could potentially start from every single week, and B, when he does start, he can make an impact once more. So that's what we've been looking for ever since probably halfway through his last season at Everton, when he got the injury and spent time out.
When it all went
that's when it went downhill for him. But now he looks like he's got that injury behind him, and he's able to become the player that we expected him to be.
Joe, the reason why I mentioned Barkley linked with England call-up is because Sarri has probably put the confidence back in him. What kind of magic do you think he's doing for Chelsea? Because he, obviously, as Conor mentioned earlier on the show, Sarri said that they're a bit behind Liverpool, and obviously they've played very well this season so far. Is he going to be another successful manager at Chelsea? Because I've said this before. Chelsea always...
May I remind you, he is an Italian manager. So, keep your Italian bias aside,
Joe, what's with Italian football? You got a problem with it or something? Capiche?
I just said...
For those that didn't know, Joe said once that Serie A was a bad league and nothing really ever comes out of it decent. Even though I had to remind him that a couple of past Premier League managers have all been Italian and from the Italian league itself, like, Ancelotti and Conte and Ranieri.
I didn't say it was a bad league. I just said I find it kind of boring to watch the football.
Boring football to watch, but still good in the Premier League.
Yep.
It was boring to watch due to the slow tempo compared to the fact that when you're used to what I was saying was I'm used to fast pace from the Premier League, La Liga, and sort of faster pace from the Bundesliga.
La
certain
Liga's
games.
Terrible. I can agree with that.
I didn't say La Liga.
I know, but I'm saying that.
Well, anyway, what was the question again? About Ross Barkley.
Sarri's magic with Chelsea so far.
Well, just to jump onto the Ross Barkley thing first. When he first came on to see at Everton, they called him Everton's Steven Gerrard and stuff. So that was an interesting thing. He's not lived up to that billing. And I think half the problem with him at Everton was Ronald Koeman didn't have the trust in him after the injury. So that was part of the problem. He's come to Chelsea. Conte didn't play him last season when he came in January. I'm not sure why. Why spend that money on a player that you're not going to play? And obviously Sarri's taken over and instilled confidence. But he's done the same with Hazard as well. Hazard lost all confidence last season under Conte and didn't believe in himself and was not getting the chances. This season he's come in and he's given the whole squad a lift.
Yeah,
he's given confidence. He's told all the players that he believes in them and they're all going to have a chance. It's like David Luiz. Conte wouldn't play him last season because he had a problem with him. This season, Sarri's playing him. He's come in with a system, and at Chelsea, he's already got quality players, so he's not going to take as much time as other managers like Emery at Arsenal. All right, Emery's got some quality players, but he's still got a lot of building to do in the squad. Chelsea already had the squad there. It's just that they didn't have the belief in the manager or the backing. The players didn't trust the manager last season, which is why it fell apart. So Sarri's already got the backing of the players already. So it's interesting that he's implemented his system. It's working well. I think the more time he gets, maybe next season, they'll definitely be title contenders. They are you could argue now they're title contenders, but I think the further they go in the Europa League, the Thursday to Sunday is very, very tiring later on in the season, so that could come into play.
That could be a big
but
challenge.
I think he's done very, very well, and I could see them challenging in Europe.
If you think about it, the squad from Conte's Premier League title win, it's not really changed that much since then. Only Courtois, that's gone. Gary Cahill losing his spot in the team, but they've easily replaced him with Christiansen. And David Luiz is coming into a brand new play. He's another one that's really benefited under Sarri.
Yeah.
So, there's not a lot of change in the squad. It's just a case of Sarri making sure his tactics is working with them, and it looks like it is.
And as you mentioned, Morata as well is starting to find the net a
Yeah,
lot more,
Morata too. Yeah,
which is good to see. So
The end of the world is nigh.
well, actually, no. The Cleveland Browns just won 2 matches.
Cleveland Browns just won 2 games in the season for the first time in like years. So the end of the world is coming.
I kind of predicted it, so I blame you if the world is ending.
Okay.